Hi, everyone. Thanks for joining us today for our Parents in Admission panel. We're going to allow another minute just to let people all get into the Zoom room. So make yourself at home, grab your cup of tea, your popcorn, maybe your dinner, maybe it's a snack.
Cup of coffee to beat the cold, right? Or hot chocolate.
There you go. Now you're thinking.
Who would have thought we needed that in April, right?
If you're just joining, welcome. This is our Parents in Admission panel. We are going to give another minute or so just for people to filter in. I know we have people coming from the spotlight session, so sit tight and we will start shortly. We're so glad that you're here. That was probably not a minute, but I'm not very patient, to be honest. And we do have another panel at 7:30. So I am going to go ahead and kick us off. My name is Allie Landis, and I am a regional representative for the University of Tulsa. I'm so excited you're here. We have just honestly a wonderful panel with some seasoned pros to answer this question. You have cream of the crop here. I'm just really honored to be here getting to moderate them. So I'm going to go ahead and have them introduce themselves, tell you who they are, what university they work with, and if y'all would also share how long you have worked in admissions.
Okay, so my name is Toni Chandler, and I'm the Associate Director of Admission at Bradley University, which is an independent private university in Peoria, Illinois. This is my 17th year in admissions, so I am what's fondly referred to as a lifer. I think we all are. And fun fact about me, I have put 2 children through college. Last one graduates in a couple weeks, so super excited, and I've been there where you guys are and happy to be here with y'all tonight.
I'll go next. Hi, I'm Beverly Henry Wheeler. I'm with Hendrix College. I'm the Regional Director of Admissions for Hendrix. Multiply Toni's years by 2, and you will have me at 34 years in the profession. I'm excited to be here tonight with you as parents, as y'all are going through this journey. And I can almost promise you that next year, this time, you will have some decisions made. And so breathe as you go through this process. Welcome.
I'm Brad Derslag. I'm the Associate Director of Admissions at Trinity University in San Antonio. This is my 7th year in admissions. Before that, I spent 11 years as a college women's basketball coach. So no matter what school your student is looking at, I probably know where the nearest subway is and gym. So honored to be here tonight and to talk with you and hopefully put some of the stresses at ease and some hints and tips, and just honored to be here with my colleagues.
Awesome. Thank y'all. Just a couple housekeeping things. The chat is going to be turned off, but the Q&A will be turned on. So if you do have a question for our panel, feel free to put it in the Q&A. We do have some questions that you all have already submitted, so there's no guarantee we're going to get to all of them, but we're certainly going to do our best. So with that, I will go ahead and kick us off with our first question, which is, how involved should parents be in the college search process? Can a parent be too involved?
Toni, you're the parent, so we're going to let you start with that.
I think, as with a lot of things in parenting, there is the urge to run interference, or I know how to do this, so I'm just going to make it easier for my child and just do it. It's kind of like math homework. Like, you know how to do it, and you can just grab the math homework and just probably do it. But really, at the end of the day, what did the student learn in that process? So I think that from my own perspective, and it was really hard because my children were applying to the institution where I worked, and which brings with it other dilemmas. But I had to take a very hands-off approach, and I specifically made them contact the people they needed to be in touch with, or made them register for the visit day, or made them do it because I wanted them to get that familiarity and kind of build that confidence that they knew what they were doing. So consider this math homework on steroids. Like, you just want to build their confidence to get them going and feel confident that they're doing the right thing for themselves.
Tony, you must be eavesdropping in our household because we're going through first grade math facts right now. And my boy is just stuck at 13 minus 7. And I just want to answer it for him. So I feel you with that. I think that there is the parents, your students so well, and to think through some of the things that maybe they may be missing also in having that conversation. When I got hired at this job, the first thing I did was call my mom and said, what let me go to Trinity in San Antonio when we're from Phoenix? And she said, for me, the big things were this campus safety and the new student orientation, things that were not on my radar. And I asked her, why new student orientation specifically? Well, she's from Kansas City, and the way she tells the story, when she went to University of Arizona, my grandfather just dropped her off and said, we'll see you at Thanksgiving. And so she didn't want that for me. And I'm glad that she was aware of that, but didn't really push, kind of like you're saying, Tony.
And I would say for me, I think of the student as the CEO, and the parents are part of it. And at any company, you don't really tell the CEO, you might advise them, but they get to make the ultimate choice. And so I think if parents can get the perspective that I'm not running the company, you've already had your company time, you chose your university, you went to your university. But I think it is important to give your son or daughter information about who they are. And you can do that very well as parents, and then help them choose universities that fit who they are.
Wow, those are some great metaphors there. I might steal some of those for future panels. I'm going to actually ask a follow-up question to this. What if a parent, they're just wanting to help and play that support role, but the student's in school from, maybe 8 to 3, and then they have sports afterwards, and, admissions offices are only open 8 to 5. Can't they just, call on behalf of the student because the student just can't because of their schedule? What about that situation?
Can I answer?
Yeah.
Have the student text us, and we can schedule a time with them.
Mm-hmm.
And you can actually, if you would like, reach out and say, hey, they're at practice and they are asking me to reach out for them. Is there a time that you can meet with them? Mm-hmm. But we really want to hear from the student. And I want to just kind of put in it, because of course, parents, y'all are probably paying for this. We want to talk to you as well. But we really want to meet the needs of the students. And I would say the 3 of us and other university reps are really available, and we'll work around their schedule. So that's, for me, that's one thing that I am readily available to do for students. It's not an 8 to 5 job.
Mm-hmm.
I would also encourage the students to get much more comfortable with email than maybe they're used to at this point, because that's how a lot of us universities will communicate, whether it's visit day opportunities or updating on applications or status in their portal. And getting used to that, I think, will help ease a lot of that stress too. And to Beverly's point, you're right. We all share our cell phone numbers and we're accessible. Our 8 to 5, I don't think that really exists in our profession. So we can be here to help with you all, but we need to know who the student is too.
I think that, in just the simplest terms, like things like contact information, and we always encourage students to create an email address, an email account just for college stuff. I think it's a very smart thing to do. So to Brad's point, having your student, set up and connect, but if it's the parent's email address and the parent's phone number, it's very hard for us to learn about that student or connect with that student or congratulate that student. I call every single one of my admitted students and congratulate them. And some of them I can never, get through because all the contact information I have is the parent. And so, to everybody's point, that's where we can really help, is to connect with that student and kind of take some of that weight off you as a parent, to where you're not having to do everything and answer every question for them. So turn that contact information over to them, turn that responsibility over to them. And yeah, we all get text messages at 11 o'clock at night. It's just part of the job, other duties as assigned. So yeah.
Absolutely.
I think the other thing that kind of tags along, your children are probably more responsible than you give them credit for.
Mhm.
And when you kind of step back, well, I've seen it, especially this year, when the parents have kind of stepped back and say, okay, you're old enough, they've actually taken the reign. So I think you're going to be surprised by how your children respond in the process.
Mhm.
It's a great point, Beverly, and kind of fun for you to get to see them take that initiative and
Mhm.
kind of start to fly on their own, which is, part of what going to college is all about and what they're really about to do fully when they enter in. I'm going to move us along to our next question. What is some advice you would give parents helping their students start the college search process?
Okay, I'll jump in on that one. I think this is great time to talk, about what's important to that student. What kind of school do they see themselves at when they, what do they want in a classroom? What do they want in an environment? Sometimes they don't really know. They're just like, I like this school, it's fun. So there's an opportunity to get on and watch virtual tours and, go visit schools and things like that. But I just think to open it up and have those conversations. And at some point, the parent's going to say, and to Brad's point, like, well, as a parent, my wish list for you, would be a safe campus and someplace where we can come and visit, and, someplace with good health care, so when you get strep throat, we know someone's taking care of you, that kind of thing. So I think just step one is just start the conversations flowing, whether it's around the dinner table or, while y'all are folding laundry, it doesn't have to be anything super formal, but just start those conversations.
I being in the DFW area, I think we're very fortunate. There are a lot of colleges here that, whether you're interested or not, you can just get exposed to see that are drastically different. TCU, SMU, UNT, Dallas Baptist, University of Dallas, and the list goes on and on. Even if it's just driving through and just seeing the vibe of it, I think will help move that conversation along. The other thing I would recommend is starting some sort of, I'm a big fan of Google Sheets. I think everyone can have access to that and staying organized. This right here is clean. Underneath here is a mess, right? So I need to be organized. And what I mean by that is the Google Sheets of having our contact information. So oh, is Tony at Bradley? Here's her email information. And so I know how to get in touch with her. Those are things that will live and breathe as you go in and explore the different universities. I think that'll help save a lot of time too.
Mhm.
I would say two things. One, going back to what Tony said, I would start scheduling family meetings once a month and just put it on a calendar. And for an hour, each person brings, and using Brad's the Google Doc, you can put topics on the calendar. And for me, I've seen when families have really decided to have those family meetings that it's less chaos, more peace, and more things get done. And I think the other thing is important is, and I'll go back to, help them know who they are versus what they want to do. So if students have a personality that really like to observe and think, and are not necessarily the type that wants a loud, kind of active environment, encourage that, and then seek universities that will fit that personality. And I use the word a lot. I know Brad has heard me say it, but I think it's important to find universities' personalities that fit your son or daughter. And so sitting down and having those conversations and telling them what you see in them and how this university could really enhance whatever that personality is. So I would say family meetings, just like Tony was talking about, Google Doc with information readily available to everybody, but ultimately helping that student see who they are and then developing what they want to do.
That's a great point too, Beverly, right? That as families, you all are exploring the university's personalities too, and asking the admissions rep, what is the personality of your university? I had a colleague ask this, ask the reps, what are the 2 days on campus you can't miss, right? You're sick in bed, you still get out of bed to go see that. Is it a tradition or what it is? And I think that will show you the university's personality.
I love that. Y'all should write down that question and pocket it and start using it. Moving on to our next question, how can I help my student take more initiative and do some of these steps themselves?
I'm going to say you got to take the training wheels off at some point, right? And if they're going to be successful in college, they're going to be successful because they have confidence to go talk to the professors, to ask for help when they need it, to advocate for themselves. And I think to your point, Beverly, and like you all mentioned before, they'll surprise you. The conversations we have had over the years with 16, 17, 18-year-olds are very deep. You know, they are asking, what's it like on campus? Can you connect me with the professor, with the student? They want to know the inside of it. We're happy to do that. And so trust them that they can fly on their own.
I agree. I think 100%. I think you're looking for tools to kind of initiate them getting started. I want to tell you on the flip side, don't be afraid that they're going to fail or they're not going to have the right question or they're going to fumble through it. We're not going to hold that against them. If anything, and I think all three of us would agree, we get excited when a student reaches out, and then we know that they're 17 and 18, that we don't expect them to have everything together and answering every question. That's why we're here, to really assist them. And so you can encourage them to reach out to individuals. You can say, well, I heard from admissions counselors and they said they're not going to chew you up and spit you out, but they're going to be readily available to assist you. So just kind of push them a little bit to try it, to reach out to some schools.
And I think, sometimes, it's awkward for the students. So they're like, oh my gosh, I'm not going to email this person as, 100-year-old lady that I don't even know. And, whatever, and start asking her a bunch of questions. But, to everybody's point, that's the best part of our job, and so at some point when they get to our schools, they're going to have to walk up and start talking to some people they don't know. So isn't it a great idea to kind of get them in the swing of doing that while they're at home and kind of in their usual comfort zone, where they can say, okay, Mom, this is what she said in the email. I'm not sure I totally understand. What is she trying to say to me? So you've got that support there, but to go ahead and just kind of say, she's your admission counselor. She is not a parent admission counselor. She is a student admission counselor. She's here for you. Let's build that bridge. Or him. Sorry, Brad. Yeah.
That's a great point, right? Our job is to talk to strangers every day and just coming up and I don't even know what to ask. I'm just curious. Mm-hmm. We can take it from there.
Yeah.
We got that. We can make the conversation if you just show up. I think we could all probably talk to a brick wall for a while. We had a question from the chat that's kind of along this topic, so I'm gonna go ahead and add it in here. We've maybe talked a little bit broadly, and so this person is wanting, can you share one don't do and one must do for parents? I'm learning the process for the first time. So I'm gonna give you all a scenario. Maybe the deadline for this application is coming up. What is one thing that the parent maybe should do and one thing that the parent shouldn't do?
You should not write your student's college essay. We have read too many of those.
Yeah. And I think it's different for every child. My kids get really annoyed when I verbally remind them about something that is not their preferred method. So I usually just got goofy and creative and, put Post-it notes, on their windshield and stuff like that. Just one Post-it note, don't forget, and they knew exactly what I was talking about. But yeah, definitely and the contact information should be the students. That's my biggest thing is don't, and it's not to the deadline prompt, Allie, sorry about that, but just, the contact information is a big one for me. So
I think that the biggest thing is don't talk for them. And that's in the essay, that's in filling out their application. Let them have their own voice. When you see a mistake, if it's not a major mistake, be okay with that. But let their voice, not your voice. Don't have your voice in the process.
Did you have anything a parent should do, Beverly, to add?
Breathe in the process and plan, but remember it is not you going to school. And so plan and I'll say this, make some memories, on your trips and have conversation about getting lost. Make it not about getting the stuff done, but make it about making some memories that you can reflect back on.
I'm going to say explore. And I know I'm a school in Texas, but Texas's biggest exports, oil and college students. Right? In the darn group we're a part of, there are over 100 universities interested in your students. Explore, see what's out there. Maybe you stay in state. I'm not saying you have to go, but at least explore, see what all the schools are and what programs are offered.
I will say that I think that that's where a parent in our frequent flyer miles and our hotel points can be super helpful is, one aspect that I see students that kind of mentally sometimes procrastinate is the campus visit. And maybe I'm speaking that because I'm the furthest away, even though we're a direct flight right out of DFW. But, so I think for the parents to kind of say, hey, let's start formulating a list of who you might like to go see or kind of make a swing, and people just do a whole Midwest swing. They'll come up through Tulsa and go, into Missouri and into Illinois. And that's cool. Y'all can just, make memories out of it. But I think the logistics portion of travel is probably where a parent, especially one that travels a lot for work, can really be, invaluable and kind of helping the student facilitate that because they're just always like, I don't know how to schedule a flight. I'm too young to book a hotel room. So, those types of things I think are a great way for you to join in and be a part of the process as well.
It's a great idea. On to our next question. What resources are available to help students once they get to college?
Please have them take advantage of the Academic Success Center or whatever universities will call it to help them how to calendar their life, learn to take notes and learn to balance the craziness that's about to be college. Starting off early when you're laying the foundation is much easier than after Thanksgiving when you're not doing so well in some classes. So I would start early rather than late.
I would say career services is available. Also counseling, the counseling center is available. Dining services, all those different things that will assist your son or daughter to be a well person. Well in the class, well outside the class. And most every university has career services, counseling, academic support services. And I would say take advantage of those, even when you're visiting, before you've decided where to go, check those things out.
I think it's also, great for parents to talk to the students. The academic piece of it is super important, but, all work and no play is kind of a bummer college experience. So, I would say, talk to your student about what kind of things they want to get involved in. If I have a student that, contacts me and they're like, well, I want to be in the choir, I'm like, okay, hold on, let me find a student who's in the gospel choir and I'll have them contact you. You know, so talking about things like that and helping them kind of find that family within the family and letting them know, yeah, we really do have a, whatever club, that they really are passionate about. I think that brings a lot of comfort with them. And sometimes they're really surprised. They're like, really, I can play Quidditch in college? Yeah, you can, so
That's good.
that brings a lot of comfort and eases some anxiety when they know they've got people of like mind with them.
That's good.
You can play Quidditch in college if you didn't know. Okay, this is our last question, and it looks like someone's raised your hand, and so I don't think we have the ability to hear you, but if you'll put your answer in the Q&A, we'll try to get to it. But this last question from our pre-sent questions is there anything we didn't talk about today you feel we should know?
Well, we touched on it a little bit, Tony did, about visiting, but I think it's really important to carve out time, even now before you make a decision, to do some window shopping visits. And do some informal visits, walking on campus, enjoying the city, but getting your son or daughter introduced to multiple types of schools before you kind of narrow down. But I think that's one thing that we touched on it a little bit, but I think it's really imperative that you do that. Even during COVID, I know universities are moving out where you can start visiting again. And I would say that.
I'm going to pop in right here because we did have a question. While you're on that subject, Beverly, someone's asking the best time for college visits.
It depends on the university because, and I'm picking on Bradley because they're up north and y'all get snow there. Y'all get that white stuff that stays, right, Tony, in Peoria? and
As
so,
we speak, yes.
So I always encourage my families, if you're looking at universities up north, don't go in the springtime. You should travel there when it's the coldest time of the year. And so it'll vary depending on if you want to go to a university that has students there when you visit, what you want to do when you go visit. From there, Brad might have some more in Tony, but I definitely just encourage families to get on campus. And the up north thing, Tony knows, that kind of gets to me with the snow.
That's definitely my mom's advice, right? Go in which the environment you will live, right? So when I was looking at schools in Ohio, we didn't visit in the summer, but also when's convenient for your schedule, right? And do you go before you apply? Do you go after you're admitted? These are things that we're talking about, those family chats you're having this conversation about. Can you go more than once? I don't know. And is it a different lens, admitted versus just applying? Again, things to be thinking about with this. The calendar of it in context. So you kind of apply in the fall-ish, you get your decision sometime in the winter, spring-ish, and then making your decision sometime before May 1st. So that's our calendar, and working backwards from there, it's with your schedule what works. I think today, the one thing is, it's not about enrolling in a school today, it's about exploring all the opportunities that are there.
And I think if anything good has come out of this whole COVID situation, it's our virtual resources are 600 times better than they were February of 2020. And so, if a student is like, well, I don't know, should I go and visit? Try a virtual visit first. And, does that school still speak to you? Is it still kind of in the back of your head, like, yeah, I really want to go see that school? And yeah, it is ideal to go and, come see a school in the Midwest when it's snowing. We can't plan for that scenario. You can pretty much, you never know. But, in lieu of that, I do agree, challenge yourself. But if summer is the only time that you can come, then, so be it. Just go and visit whenever you can. But those virtual visits are so great to just kind of get a warm up.
Thank y'all so much. I have one quick question. A parent asked, is it okay to do the spreadsheet with the deadlines together? Is it okay for the parent to be a part of that spreadsheet?
I mean, that's why I want it to be Google Sheets where everyone has eyes on it and you all have the contact information. Absolutely.
Check, check, check. Yes.
But the parent isn't filling everything out. it's like Brad was saying, it's everybody.
Mhm.
Awesome. Well, we're right at 7:30. Perfect timing. Thank you all so much for joining us tonight. We appreciate it. We hope that it was helpful. Thank you so much to our panelists for your time and just your insight and knowledge. You really did have the cream of the crop here tonight. And we do have our test optional flexible blind panel next. And that link was sent in the chat. So please join us for that if you're able to and interested. And y'all have a great evening. Stay warm.
Thank you.
Thank you.